Mike. Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love. I'm in Toronto where you
Welcome to Toronto Mic'd, episode 1054. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. StickerU.com. Create custom stickers, labels, tattoos, and decals for your home and your business. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Doer, the world's most comfortable pants and shorts. Save 15% with the promo code TMDS. Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. And Canna Cabana, the lowest prices on cannabis, guaranteed. Over 100 stores across the country. Learn more at cannacabana.com. Today, making his Toronto Mic debut is live streamer and loving kindness coach, Amish Patel. Welcome, Amish.
Hello. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. I just off the very top of this program, I'm cracking open at Great Lakes because it's been one crazy weekend and so much has happened already today, and I want to talk to you all about it. So I want to thank Great Lakes Brewery for sending over some fresh craft beer. Amish, you just opened that, but not on the mic. I'm disappointed.
What? Oh, you got to open on the mic.
But much like you can't unring a bell, you can't do that twice. Okay, so what do you? Is that a cold one? Okay, so cheers to you.
Cheers.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, man. Canuck Pale Ale, that's what I got.
Canuck Pale Ale, that's like the Great Lakes staple, man. That's like their longtime bestseller. But I'm drinking a Burst because I'm drinking an IPA. But enjoy. Thank you, Great Lakes. And Amish, whereabouts did you come from today? Like, are you a Toronto guy?
I was in Toronto for like right up until COVID, and then I moved into my mom's house. At first, I mean, she broke her pelvic bone at one point, so I was helping her. And then the pandemic ended, and now I'm just like a 40-year-old living with my mom. So I don't know. At one point, it was kind of noble. It was like the right thing to do, and now it's judged, I think.
And your mom's not in Toronto.
She's in Brampton, and I made a whole studio out there, green screen, everything. So it's like,
okay. So I want to get to know you, what you're up to. I called you I labeled you a live streamer and loving kindness coach, and I'm curious to know what the heck that even means. But I also have some like current event stuff I want to just discuss off the top.
Oh yeah, that's what we do.
How dialed in are you? Like, if I said to you there was big news in the world of Q107, would you say, oh, what's going on there? Or would you be on top of this?
I would say I saw your interview where you were interviewing someone. It sounded like you didn't even know, and you just asked her like, hey, how was it working with this guy? And she was like, yeah, that guy's a creep.
Okay, what you saw, yes. You saw
that.
An excerpt from my interview with Jackie Delaney.
Yes, that's
and it was about a month ago.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's start there. So, again, I'm only going to speak of what I know and what I've been told, and I'm going to be a little careful here. I had a chat with my good friend Lauren Honickman, so...
Can I ask you real quick, though?
Anything you want, buddy. This is good
Did you know when you did it? Because on that episode and that YouTube clip, it's like, it really looks like you didn't know. Or are you just such a sly little DJ, sly podcaster that you're like, okay, I'll set you up and then tell me? And then...
You're good. You know why? I knew.
Oh, you did know? Okay.
So,
wow, you're good, man. That's good acting.
Okay, so here's my predicament. I'm in a unique spot here where I'll know things and I'll be explicitly told, like, this is off the record. Please don't put this in public. Like, people will tell me things. Like, many people will tell me many things. And they will say, I don't want this out there. And they tell me things, okay? So the greatest challenge I have day to day, especially because I have an open mic, like I have a live, and we'll talk about how you can relate to this, but this mic is live right now. And I don't edit my programs. And, there's several hours a week where I'm talking into a microphone.
Rock and roll, dude.
We're like, well, but radio, it was like it happened. And if you caught it, you caught it. And then it was gone into the abyss, right? Where I'm like, I record these. I don't edit. I publicly post them. And like, I just listened to an episode with Andrew Krystal from a couple years back. It's living there for all eternity, essentially. And we'll get to Andrew Krystal later because I want to talk about him too. But basically, I'm told lots of things. And people we know and love, FOTMs, they have a story they'll put onto the public record. And I happen to be aware that they're missing a part of the story because they're not ready to put it out in public. So my role, I mentioned, kind of unique, and I think you can relate, and chime in when you wish, Amish. It's a combo, but
Will do.
I will not be the guy who outs somebody. Like and here's a good example. If somebody said, if I knew somebody was gay, but they weren't out, they weren't publicly gay, but I know they're gay, I'm not going to sit here on the mic. If they want to tell me they're gay, we can talk about it, whatever. Yeah. But I'm not going to be like, I heard you're gay. Like, I'm not in the business of outing people in their personal stories.
These are classic live streamer skills that people need to learn. And I have had to learn over the years. And I have outed things that people are like, Amish, come on. Ongoing court case. Now, luckily, it was at a time where, there's 150 people listening live maybe. And then it goes up to like, those clips would go up to like, I don't know, a couple thousand. Didn't matter in the end. We cut it out sometimes. Sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't.
Okay, little ninja edit or whatever. Sure,
it would happen.
But and now I'm at a place now where it's like if it's there, it'll get excerpted, like it'll be cut out and put to some Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and then it'll live beyond my control. Like I wouldn't even be able to just delete it from the episode. Like it just be. So anyway, long story short is, I'm always very careful not to out somebody. So Jackie's a great example where I'm aware of Jackie's story with regards to John Derringer.
Right, but is this the day that she wants to tell it? I know what you mean.
So yes, and I know she hasn't gone public with this. Like I know this through private channels, and I'm not the one to speak. So I will literally, and you might heard in that clip, I'll be like, what was it like work? I'll ask this question. Yeah. I asked it of Colleen Rushholm. I asked it of Maureen Holloway. I asked it of, I would ask it of Jackie Delaney. I would be, what was it like working with John Derringer? And then I would basically listen, and I would be ready to react to whatever Jackie says. When I would ask that question of Maureen Holloway, because I listen back, I'll be like, what was it like working with the legend that is John Derringer? And she would be very careful to say, John Derringer is a great broadcaster. Like she would comment on his skills as a broadcaster. Yes, she would comment on his skills as a broadcaster, but there would never be any inkling of like, I learned so much from him. I loved working with him. We're still friends. She would be very careful, and I'd be thinking to myself in real time because there's
your spidey senses go up. You're like this guy did something.
But I already knew. That's the thing. So okay, I know lots of things. So I would process it in real time. Okay, Maureen's not ready to talk about this. And then I would give her that and move on. Like, I'm not going to challenge her. And this is with Jackie a month ago. Jackie Delaney making her Toronto Mic debut. I know a story. I set her up that if she wants to tell the story, she can. So I'll be like, what was it like working with John Derringer?
Wow, smart.
And then it's her call, 100%. And whatever direction she takes me, I'm going with her because I respect my guest. And if Jackie wanted to say something like, oh, it was very brief and, he was a great broadcaster. I learned a lot, but then I moved on to do something else or whatever. I'd go that way. But this time, for the first time in, 10 years of podcasting, Jackie Delaney stopped and she had a moment where I could tell she was thinking, do I say it or not? And then she decided to say it. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was a month ago.
Wow. That's interesting. It kind of reminds me of like when you watch those Gian Gomeshi, all those Me Too documentaries that came out. And then they would talk about it and they would show clips of the people on a show being like, he's so great. I love working with him because it's like, you got to work still.
Right.
It's like maybe 10 years later.
You don't want to burn any bridges.
Don't want to burn any bridges.
And at least one of the women, and I won't, okay, so who can I name? I can name Jackie because she went on the record on my show. And then we're going to name another name of somebody who I haven't actually had on Toronto Mic yet. And now it all kind of makes sense a little bit, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But, yeah, okay, where was I going with that? So, it'll come back to me where the hell I was going with that one. But let me just talk about Jennifer Valentine for a moment. So Jennifer's somebody that when she left Breakfast Television, I reached out to her to get her on. And she was doing something with Chorus. I want to say she was hosting a Big Brother or a, what kind of shows do they have? Maybe a Big Brother Canada after party or something for Chorus. Like she was hosting a program, and she said, "Oh, I would love to, but you need to ask Chorus PR." And Chorus PR, for whatever reason, said no. I remember this at the time. And then she got the job of John Derringer, and then I reached out again, and it didn't happen. But Jennifer Valentine posted a video on Saturday. Did you see any of that video that Jennifer... Do you know who Jennifer Valentine is?
No, I don't, and I missed that video. Sorry, if you could tell me about it.
Oh, it's okay. Listen, I will try to summarize it a little here. But
I got the last video. I got the first video.
Okay, so that video you saw was Jackie Delaney on Toronto Mike, and that was a month ago. And then on Saturday morning, Jennifer Valentine posted a much longer video, a much more detailed video, in which she talked about what she experienced working with John Derringer at Q107.
Wow.
That was the one where when that happened, then people started chiming in. Andrea Ruse spoke up about what he said to her, and then others I won't name.
How bad did it get?
So it's interesting when you look, what I've been told from now several women, okay, some want their names protected, but several women. It's what I would call like extremely aggressive workplace bullying. Like definitely, like it's one of those things where should not be acceptable in any workplace.
Yeah, sounds like a Ellen DeGeneres. Man, it's so tough because these shows are like, I gotta get the jokes. And it's like you gotta go back and like hit people. Okay, Ellen didn't hit people, but they made it sound like it was like.
Well, John Derringer, from what I understand, has never hit anybody.
No physical.
He's not punching.
Of course, nobody's.
Right, he's not punching Jackie in the nose.
But they're doing this as like, you call this a joke, idiot? We got drunk. Like they're mad at them, I guess. And then even Hassan Minaj, when his show ended, people said that about him too, which I was like,
interesting.
That's if he's doing it, maybe it's just a high price.
I need to use the A word though. These are all allegations. So we did not witness anything, right? We have not witnessed anything. Okay, so just alleged. These are all allegations. But what I ended up doing, I think it was later on Saturday, I realized that there were all these like tweets and Facebook posts and videos and links, and then my podcast. There was a whole bunch of these threads, but like everyone's kind of linking to different parts, and there was no like aggregation. So what I decided to do, I figured, well, my role in all this, because I've been covering Toronto radio forever.
Canada, baby. Someone's got to do it here.
So you know what? I actually had this moment. I said, well, if I'm waiting for like, I don't know, the Toronto Star or the Globe and Mail or, any kind of mainstream media, if I'm waiting for somebody to do this next step, which is to collect it all and create this one landing page, if you will. Like if I'm waiting for that, I don't know that's going to happen, but I know I can do that. Like that can be my role.
Yeah,
so,
it's your job, I guess. As content creators, that's
if I don't
kind
do
of
it,
what
who
happens.
does it? Like, and this sounds like, oh, what an arrogant guy. If I don't do it, who does it? But like legit, here we are on Tuesday, and we're going to talk about the updates today. But it's Tuesday afternoon, and I have not, got a sniff from mainstream media on this story.
They don't care, right? In Canada, they don't care. It's got to be big. It's got to be like.
But isn't this big?
Okay, the Gomeshi one
Gomeshi was criminal, right? Like I feel like now we're talking like labor. Like I don't even know what this is not.
This is more of a labor issue.
He's not getting handcuffs put on him, right? Because there's no. I don't know, and I'm not. I should be careful. I don't know what I'm talking about. Except I don't think there's a law against being a supreme asshole.
Yeah, no, he's mean. I mean, that's it. And sometimes you wonder, is this what it takes to run a comedy show? Because he was always kind of, I thought, silly, like more of a silly kind of vibe, that him.
Did you ever listen?
I think I remember him. Derringer.
He's been there forever. So
he's been there forever.
So let's just say that, firstly, I'm sorry for everyone who had to endure everything. And and it's interesting that I produce a show for Humble and Fred. And Jackie Delaney, so we put Jackie Delaney on Humble and Fred this morning because Humble and Fred they worked down the hall from the John Derringer show.
Right.
Like this is how Chorus worked. 102.1 had morning show of Humble and Fred, and then down the hall is Derringer in his show doing Q107. Like this is just their like, what do you call that, sister stations or whatever. Yeah. So Chorus, so Humble and Fred have witnessed and knew so much. And then there's of course Humble's relationship with Colleen Rushholm because they co-hosted a show on Boom and Easy Rock. Wow. And of course there's, they all saw the same video I did, and you'll see probably later from Jennifer Valentine, and it's all very quickly, these pieces all kind of added up, and I created a landing page on torontomike.com where I just literally, I didn't put in my editorial. I'm not in this. This is not my story. I'm literally just collecting people's stories and then putting it together.
You are just a channel, brother. You
I'm
are a
just
live stream
aggregator,
channel,
right?
and the information comes, and you channel it into the community.
And
You're putting it
you know
together.
live streaming. And what's, by the way, before I even go for any further, your show is called The Drip, right?
Yeah, it's called The Drip. We're doing a lot of spiritual stuff. I think I sent you a thing this morning. So we've had a lot of cult rehab guests, people who were in cults. Very similar kind of stuff. They come out and
so
then
former FOTMs.
What's FOTM?
No, it's just a joke. That's Friends of Toronto Mike. So
right.
You're now in FOTM.
I'm FOTM, baby. I'm in the cult. But there's good ones and there's bad ones. You know, there's some,
yeah.
We've had cult. It's all been people in abusive cults, and they've been coming on the show. So that's doing really well. And then I'm starting to start a new show called Public Forgiveness, where people can call in and I'll forgive them.
Okay, this is why this will be more about Amish. This is not the Toronto Mike show here, although it is technically. But we're going to really dive into these things you're doing, because I think it's really cool. But just to put a bow on all this, so all weekend long, this story's evolving all weekend long. I got there, Supriya Dwarvetti posted something. She was doing mornings at 6:40, which is also a sister station, and she talked about how everybody knew what Jennifer was enduring. There's just all these like, I guess we'll call them allegations, claims, if you will. So I'm literally just maintaining a page. It's still there, torontomike.com. Or you can
swearing. Sorry.
Do you want to swear?
No. I'm saying like I'm trying to get I get what you're doing. I try to do this a lot myself, and I try to have like a clear line where I'm just like, okay, Derringer, yelling, swearing. It's not nothing physical.
For example, here's some specific examples, and these are like very specific from the women who were like victimized here, but they were allegedly victimized. They would be, this person would get in their face and yell the C word, calling them a C word, and yell at them and tell them to compare paychecks. Nobody cares about you. And it sounds like it's systemic. It sounds systemic because it's, yes, you have one ego out of control, right? Maybe a revenue generator ego but this ego was enabled for so long and protected for so long by management. And I've been like, I've been being Woodward and Bernstein here, like just sniffing and looking at who's in what role at what time. And I have a little list of names over here. And I'm telling you, this goes way beyond John Derringer being a dick. He was systemically protected. Like, these women were all endangered, and this was all, and there's a lot of hush-hush, NDA, here's money, don't ever talk about this, and threats, and if you want to work in the business. And so many people just couldn't say a word. I mean, one of these people still works for Chorus, right? So it's just simply, in my opinion, this is a massive radio story. Yeah. And here's the update. The update is, so I guess there was a meeting at Chorus Key at this morning, 10 a.m., and it was revealed that the show, and there's 3 people on this show, Derringer and then 2 others. I should find out their names, actually, but I think one is named Ryan Parker, but I need to find out the other gentleman's name. But John, I think. So John and Ryan and Derringer, the show was suspended pending a third-party investigation into the claims.
That's it. Shut it down, people. Shut it down.
Okay, so I'm with you because I'm thinking this is probably some HR legal thing. They need to do their due diligence before they make the next step. But then I learned when I got back from my bike ride when I was getting ready for you, buddy, I learned that the landing page for Derringer in the Morning that you find at q107.com is now 404ing.
Oh, here we go. Gone on, tuck their tail and hide and run.
What does that tell you?
They're on the run, these people. I mean, maybe the lawyers step in and the lawyers go, shut it all down. This is a PR disaster. Everything goes through PR now, and you're not allowed to talk. Could be that.
Now I'm
because people scour these websites for okay, what did he say 5 years ago? Not that I'm not against him on this, but there's been so many of these where they go, okay, let's go through this guy's podcast.
That's it. On air though, on air, this gentleman in particular, who for the record, I've invited on Toronto Mike many times, and he's politely declined. I always wanted him on. He's a key kind of radio figure.
He's a classic. We're talking 30 years in the game. This guy.
You're right. You know it. See, I
know John Derringer. I know John Derringer. Maybe I'm mistaking him for a more shock jock guy, a silly guy.
No,
Are you saying he's not silly?
He's it's a comedy show.
It's a comedy. Yeah, that's what I mean. So he's a silly guy, and he's just just cracking the whip over these comedy jokes, basically.
He took over for Howard Stern doing mornings at Q107, and he's been there ever since. This is a long time running for Mr. Derringer. So I take no glee in any of this, though. I'm not anti-Derringer. I don't have any axe to grind with Derringer personally. I've never met the man. I've always respected his work. Again, he was a highly sought guest because I want to talk to people who are in positions like his in Toronto media. That's what I do here. This is episode 1054. I finally got to Amish. So there's no delight. I'm not excited and there's no happiness. I'm just shocked as I learn more.
It
And
saddens me too that you know
Yeah.
my come up in this in comedy and doing like streaming all this stuff is you almost get to a point where you go like, do I need to be a sociopath to be successful in this business?
Right.
It is extremely competitive, stressful, like it messes with your head. And then you find out like the top 5 guys are all like hitting someone or screaming in their faces or whatever it is. Because that sounds very similar to Ellen DeGeneres, where it's not hitting, nothing physical, obviously, but it is this kind of like
threats,
yeah.
and demeaning, belittling. Like if you say anything, I mean, Humble and Fred told a story this morning that I guess Derringer was mad at them for something, so he told his intern, who was actually the aforementioned Ryan. There, he told his intern that his intern was not allowed to drive Humble and Fred's intern into the office anymore, even though they both came from the same neck of the woods. In
Politics,
Mississauga.
man.
Like, can you imagine? So there's a lot of this going on in this. And again, I don't know the man. I wish none of this had happened. This is not the stories I want to be covering. But I felt like if I don't write that post, I don't know who does anymore. Like who?
We have to, because these psychos. The live streamers, the people have to speak out, because these psychos, just like the cult leaders, these psychos, they basically are so. It's kind of like when you watch the Donald Trump documentary, you go like, how is this guy in charge of everything? And then you see the inner workings behind the scenes.
All the pieces matter.
The politics is everything. Hey, don't drive their intern anymore. This is the kind of psychopath moves that make you go to the top and that make everyone silent for you. Because the worst thing, the thing that's going to piss me off the most about this is now you're going to tell me, like, does he make money even? Like, is it like he's like Gio Gomeshi? Terrible. I'm not saying it's okay.
Well,
but we're talking about
even though
it's
he was
the
found not
only
guilty.
show that makes money, and then they're like, oh God, what are we going to do?
Right.
But a lot of times. And I'm not saying that's okay, but I'm saying with Derringer, maybe with Derringer, but I've seen this happen even where the person's not even that valuable, but their political strength is so powerful.
You have the friends in the ivory tower.
You can't touch them. I was talking to my nephew's girlfriend, and she's working at a butterfly conservatorium, and I said, "What's the hardest part?" And she said, "It's the politics. Some of these older moms
Is that the one in Cambridge?
No, not that one. But it's another one. I can't tell you which one. But she's saying it's in like a small town, but not Cambridge though. But she was just saying the politics is so cutthroat.
We should be covering this story. The Butterfly Conservatory.
Maybe
claims.
government funded organization.
Follow the money.
And she goes in there and she's just more aggressive than everyone else in the small town. And she's aggressive and she says, "Oh, you're not going to put me up, and I'm not going to be the one, and I don't like her, and I don't think she should be coming in here." And then, "Oh, maybe your pudding disappeared today. Maybe
it's not just
maybe flat
radio,
tires
it's
on the
all
car."
Industries have this bullshit, and
It's human nature.
Enough.
It's human nature, and you almost always have to call it out. Like people, because someone like this comes along, and 90% of us are just like, "Okay, I don't want to bother you."
But okay, so Amish, if I look at all the different people I know of and their stories and their specifics and everything, this is going back a long time. I mean, this is not something that just happened with Jennifer Valentine, because Jennifer Valentine was on Q107 from 2017 to 2019. And her story, you can hear it in her words in a video she posted Saturday. Yeah. So go, and that's part of that post I put on torontomike.com. But these other stories are going back, like, this is a long time. It's unbelievable that this gentleman persisted, still celebrated, and it took until today for an investigation.
The ego is so powerful, brother.
Wow.
It's so powerful, and it scares people. Like, first, the worst thing is that with these people, you won't get an apology even. In their minds, they're righteous. That's the worst thing. Like, he's going to come out of this like, can you believe it? I made the show. And they don't stand in line for me.
He made his Benjamin. So like he was highly paid for many, many, many years, and very highly paid. Like, so he's got his money. So even if at the end of this investigation they decide that to dismiss without severance due to cause or violating the chorus charter of rights and freedoms or whatever they call that document or whatever, he's done all right. So he'll be fine. But
he's done all right, and the damage has been kind of
these
done.
Executives, man, that's it. And again, I'm not naming names right now because I'm not Woodward and Bernstein, but
they're soft too, man. They're soft. They can't stand up to him. He comes in, he says, "Without me, you're done."
But should they be held accountable now? Because my feeling is yes. Like, my feeling is this isn't just one guy, fire this one guy, problem solved. Like, we have individuals, people, and one of them is still at a different station working with a morning show. Like, these are powerful people that have enabled and protected and covered up and are as much a part of the problem as the aggressor.
So this person comes out and says, "Hey, I was Derringer's boss for 5 years, and I just can't stand up to him." Like, you know, like they just come. What are you going to say to them? I mean, he's scaring the shit out of them too. I mean, I guess they all get sued. It's almost, you know, in a lot of these situations, I always just feel like, because I hate that he did that. You look at people like I said before, Trump, Ellen DeGeneres, all these people, they're terrible. There's almost nothing you can do. You'll never get an apology. Forget that. Court legally, like, I mean, look at this Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. It's not going to be a clean, like, okay, you win. It's just getting more and more convoluted and weird. And it's like, okay, you spent 10 years of your life on this.
Right.
And there's not much you can do. You have to stop it when it comes, and you have to like tell people to be more. I guess maybe as Canadians, we have to be more, not Canadians, but Americans are just as bad with this. We just have to have more of a backbone and just be like, when we see someone being a jerk, stop it. Tell them like there's better ways to live, brother. This not, you know, it's not good for you.
Very difficult to do when you want to work in the industry, though. That's one of those things where I think Jackie, who went first.
Yeah.
It was because she left the industry long ago, and this is the expression I use on Toronto Mike. She was out of fucks to give. She was just gonna, shine some light on the truth here. And then Jen Valentine on must have been reached a similar point on Saturday morning when she pressed that, what is it, whatever the button is in Facebook, publish, and decided she was going to release that into the wild, and then let nature take its course.
So sad.
Wow. Okay. So big ups to those who had the courage and the strength. And if I could play a little role and just helping, that's it. And I need to.
Sorry that you went through that. I mean,
well, I don't. Sorry for me. Not
you. Them.
Okay,
them. I'm not. I wasn't saying
sorry.
To you.
Sorry. No.
Sorry.
But, it's okay if you say sorry to me, because
it is your karmas. Put it together. You have to put it together, Toronto Mike. It is your karmas, and you must be done. But
I'm exhausted, man. I feel like I worked all weekend. Okay.
But they went through the thing. So
all right. Now you can feel sorry for me. You ready? Okay. So. And again, we're going to get to you very shortly, but this was quite the weekend. So yes, this John Derringer story was breaking, and then that happened.
Fascinating, and it says so much about the culture at large. Though it's everywhere. This is everywhere, and even what we do, we're radio streamers, we're whatever, we talk live. It's it's a tough industry, and you fight your way in, and then you just turn into a bit of a psycho. And I guess we all do enable people.
Okay, so. Give me a little background and give the listeners a little background before I talk about this other radio story that saddened me. I woke up to it Sunday, but I got it Saturday. No, when did I get that story? Sunday night.
It's so great to be in this like real radio. I feel like I'm at I'm worshiping, or I'm seeing the Gurujis of radio. Like I'm seeing you, and we are doing karmas for the general radio public. And when I go back to my channel, it's going to be like 5,000 more subscribers. God is great.
Okay, let's give a little context, because I'm going to guess. A lot of the FOTMs listening right now are like, who the hell's Amish Patel?
Who is this guy?
Because and then most of my guests are known names for those who are kind of plugged in. I'm not sure.
Big Toronto names, big names.
Big names, right? But
big names. I'm on the come up. You know what I mean? I'm newer in the game. I'm on the come up. I'm a Canadian Screen Award winner.
Slow down. You won a Canadian Screen Award. That's what the Geminis used to be called, right? I think
no. They're still out there. Those Geminis. Those Geminis are still out there. So. Didn't get any love from them, even though the Writers Guild. I got a Writers Guild award and I got a Canadian Screen Award. Nothing from the Geminis.
I think the movie award people and the TV award people, which is the Geminis, they all got together and merged into the Canadian Screen Awards. That's what I think happened.
Oh, so you're saying that I won a Gemini too? Then God is great. Wow.
So what did you win for? What did you win for?
So I wrote on this kids TV show that I was also acting in, and when you're acting on a show, they kind of have to give you a shot at one. I mean, I basically pitched them on the 4th season. I pitched them like 6 episodes. They picked one, and then that one did really well, and it won a Canadian Screen Award. The show's called Dino Dana. I played the dad.
Okay,
I'm the dad on it.
Are you kidding me?
Habibi.
Okay, because my kids are a bit older now, but there was another Dino before Dana. Am I right? Or
Dino Dan was first.
Okay, that's what it was.
That was the first
so I have a
series.
20-year-old.
Right.
And I remember when he was a kid, I remember Dino Dan. And you're saying this is like a spin-off or a reboot?
Reboot. Dino Dana is a full spin-off. Dino Dan Tricks
You're the dad on Dino Dana?
I'm dad.
I should have put that in the intro.
Well,
wow.
It's fine. We're here now. I mean, I've had a weird career. It's all over the place. I mean, then COVID hit. Like, I got to do my stand-up comedy special this year. I need to stand up.
But where's that going to be? Like, is that going to be a YouTube thing, or is Netflix going to pick that up?
Well, it's definitely going to be on Sound Exchange. The same thing that I guess these. Oh no. What is it called? The Sound Exchange and the SiriusXM. It goes on SiriusXM.
Oh,
and then
well, that's
I'll
exciting.
probably put the video of it somewhere, maybe sell it to CTV. Who
Wow.
knows?
Wow.
I was writing a show for CTV before. I'm writing another show for a company called Sinking Ship. It's an original kids TV show. Very, very political, but very silly. I can't talk about it because we're just in the process of selling it. But I'm being paid to write it, so that's nice.
You're getting paid in Canada to write something.
Yeah, TV show.
That's amazing.
But it's kids, baby. It's kids. You know what? You know what they always say? All the old screenwriting books I used to read, they would be like, an adult movie, 1 ticket. Kids movie, 5 tickets, baby. That's the money.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I just booked this. I booked as a dad this kids TV show, so I kind of got into it from that.
Okay.
They also applied for an Emmy two times for me, a daytime Emmy.
So I saw this like in your bio. It says 2-time Emmy nomination applicant. So that's sort
Why
of
are you
like,
saying the applicant so loud? No, that's in the bracket. Say it quietly. The applicant part.
like I feel like that's.
Emmy nomination applicant.
But can I apply for an Emmy?
No, you got to have a show on the thing. It's got to be legit.
Okay.
It's got to be
All
on
right.
the legit thing. Like these guys have like 50 Emmys. They
Well,
won.
I can apply for the Emmy, and they can be like, "You don't qualify, you idiot." And I can still then tell people I'm an Emmy nomination applicant.
But you apply for what? You
So
can't apply.
listen, I'm here to I respect you. We're going to learn more about your career. Dino
Dana.
Dana.
So-
Dino, not Dino. Dino is
Dino Dana.
someone else. That's Dino. That's like Dean Martin's nickname. I
No,
think.
it's Dino. It's like a dinosaur.
You know, because I'm thinking of the Flintstones.
She sees dinosaurs on the show. We learn about dinosaurs.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. So
Sick.
it's filmed in Toronto.
Yeah.
and
from
it's actually like, I don't know, it's basically CGI, right? Like you're seeing like a pterodactyl or
yeah, we did a lot of sci-fi acting. Like there would be a guy that comes on with a little ball, and then that's
Okay.
where the dinosaur would be.
I always think, hey, I like to see what neighborhoods you're in. So I'd like to see the scenes from Toronto.
We
and
shot something around here.
And I'm always guessing, like, I think I know that, or I biked by that because I bike the city every day, and I know that place. And then you see the dinosaurs, you're like, oh, that looks pretty fucking realistic. Like that's like Jurassic Park quality. Like we've come a long way.
Oh, he's such a Jurassic Park fan. The producer, he's 100%.
What's his name?
JJ Johnson. JJ Johnson.
JJ Abrams. No, sorry, JJ Johnson.
JJ. Yep.
So interesting, because that's also one of the names that's been tossed around in this radio, controversy. But okay,
No,
that's a different guy, though, I guess.
No.
There's a JJ Johnston that.
Johnston.
Okay, yours is Johnson.
Oh my God! No. This is
Lots
kids,
of JJs.
Kids TV.
I know,
No.
okay.
There's no way. There's no.
Dino-
Oh my God.
Dino Dana
Yeah.
is still airing. It started in 2017.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime too, and
Wow.
it's on TVO and Amazon Prime.
I'm excited.
And it's won a bunch of Emmys. I didn't win the Emmy, but my daughter, the girl who plays my daughter, I'm very proud of her. I have 2
she
daughters.
won an Emmy?
Yeah.
So you got an Emmy application.
They applied at the same time for me, but she won it. Yeah. She won it the second time.
I wish I pulled a clip. Okay, so this is exciting. Now, you also, I just want to shout out a couple other things that you're in. You're in like Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure.
Oh, for 2 seconds? Yeah, what a silly movie. I was basically like, it's Sharpay is one girl from, I think, that dance TV show, the Glee or something like that. And then she got her own, no, not Glee. It's like a Disney dance movie.
Okay.
Summer Heights High, not Summer Heights High, something like Dance High or something like that. And then she got her own spin-off.
High School Musical?
Maybe it's High School Musical, yeah.
Because my almost 18-year-old daughter worshipped High School Musical when she was a kid.
Is Sharpay a good guy or a bad guy? I think she's a bad guy in it. Maybe.
I wish I knew. She watched it 100 times.
She is like an evil genius in the movie that I'm in, but I'm in it for 2
Sharpay's
seconds.
Fabulous Adventure. Okay, and then Full English Breakfast. Are you in that? And what the hell is that? And it's just making me hungry.
Full English breakfast, dude? What are they going to eat? Like crumpets? It's garbage.
Actually, so you know how we refer to like, okay, you want a continental breakfast and they give you like a croissant and a coffee? The reason we call this continental breakfast is to differentiate it from English breakfasts, which are like absolutely full. Like not only is it eggs and sausage and beans and toast, like it's an absolute like 1,000-calorie meal. Like it's huge. The full English breakfast.
And the continental. That is the colonizers,
So
and then the
that's the rest of
continental is
Europe,
that this is for the poor people. The continental. I've been eating poor people breakfast this whole time. From now on, I'm going to demand. I want the content. I want the British Raj. Give me there.
I mean, it's huge. It's all the beans too. They go heavy on the beans.
Of course, the colonizer, brother. They have the big breakfast, and then they go continental. That is for you guys. Damn, I had no idea. Thank you for educating me on that. That's good.
Well, I mean, that's what I do on this program. Okay,
Yeah,
so and again, when did the drip start?
Drip, during COVID, I did an episode. So there's a guy that I know, kind of like what you're doing today. He calls out scams. His name's CoffeeZilla. His channel's called CoffeeZilla. His name's Steven. You probably heard of him. He's at 1 million subs right now. But we started the podcast together.
What's his name again?
Steven CoffeeZilla. His channel's called CoffeeZilla. But he's basically like an internet detective. Yeah, and now we're...
That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I do that for cults. So like I have a show called Cult Rehab where we talk about that, and then we're putting together like little cult documentaries about like just some vicious cults out there, some real psychopaths. Yeah.
Do you ever get like a nibble from like streaming stations or television stations that are like Cult Rehab? We think that there's an audience for that on our network.
I mean, I just started it like...
okay, you just started it.
I just started Cult Rehab. I mean, it started naturally, though, because the audience on YouTube wants it. The girl who came on first... I mean, these stories are wild. They were in a cult, and the guys are such psychos that every story, you're just like, this is so banger. I mean, who's going to... I'm gonna interview some comic? Like, it's okay. It's fine. But these cult survivors, they got crazy stuff going on.
What?
And the cult leaders...
Yeah.
It's rude to say, but they're actually hilarious, some of them. Like, they're such psychos that they're doing, like messed up stuff.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you have a charismatic leader of a group of people...
Like we're trying to be, yeah.
Is that, like, what makes it a cult is my question. Like, because, we have these live events, these Toronto mic'd listener experiences. We call them TMLX.
Wow, and the groupies come out for you, eh?
Well,
they just get so excited.
Let's not call them groupies, okay? But listeners of the groupies sleep with you,
lovers of the show.
Lovers of the show, right?
Yeah.
They're groupies for the content.
For the content, yeah.
So, like, we had one May 13th. That's not that long ago. That's only a couple weeks ago. And we all meet at the same time at the same part of a park, and then we drink Great Lakes beer. Okay, this happened a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
And a bunch of us collect. That was TMLX 9. There's going to be a big TMLX 10.
What?
We're going to call it TMLX X.
I got to do this.
On the patio of Great Lakes Brewery on September 1st. And this is not an official announcement because I have to shore up some details before I make the official announcement. But that might be happening.
I'm coming, by the way.
So, okay, so well, you're an FOTM. We feed you. So just here's what happens. Yes, there's fresh craft beer from Great Lakes. We're enjoying one right now. Right. God is great, yes. Palma Pasta feeds us. So Palma Pasta is in you're from Brampton, so yeah. Mississauga and Oakville have between them. There's 4 locations. PalmaPasta.com. If you want authentic Italian food, it's delicious. Do you eat lasagna?
Do I?
Does Amish Patel eat lasagna?
Of course.
Okay. Do you eat meat lasagna or do you need a vegetarian lasagna?
I'm vegetarian.
Okay, so I already owe some other people vegetarians because in my freezer right now is a meat lasagna. But I'm getting an order of vegetarian lasagna to get to those vegetarians.
That's great.
So I will score you a vegetarian meat lasagna, and Amish, you're gonna love it, man.
I can't wait. I can't wait. That's gonna be great.
So that's Palma Pasta does feed us at these events. So if let's pretend 100 people come out on September 1st for TMLXX. I happen to be the leader because I am the TM in FOTM, and I don't know if I'm charismatic or not. Let's pretend I am.
Well, come on, you're charismatic.
Do I need to then get this group of people to do something bad to be a cult? Like, do I need to see, okay, guys, let's all rob the Quickie Mart? Like, is it like what is the step that makes it a cult?
Oh, there's actually a whole belt. It's called the belt model, BELT, and I got to look it up right now because I did take the class on it.
Do that, and I'll thank a couple. So look up belt.
Go for it.
Well, I just let you know I put a Toronto Mike sticker on the red box. So where is it? Did you move it already? Okay, so there's okay, you got it there. Okay, so that's courtesy of stickeru.com. Great partners of this program. Everybody go to stickeru.com, upload your image, get your stickers and decals and temporary tattoos and stuff. What good people, what great product. So thank you, StickerU. I also want to say shout out to Ridley Funeral Home. You were playing with the measuring tape there. You're taking that home with you, Amish. That's courtesy of Ridley Funeral Home.
Wow, you got a funeral home sponsor?
Yes, I do, sir. Yes. In fact, I produce a podcast.
I knew I came here for a reason.
I produce a podcast for a funeral director named Brad Jones. and he's from Ridley Funeral Home. And this is a tremendous podcast. I love this podcast. It's called Life's Undertaking, and everybody should subscribe and listen.
What a
shout
great
out to Brad
idea.
Jones. Yeah, it's great. It's a really thoughtful podcast that Brad is putting together there.
So smart. It is like as someone who's trying to create content, it's like I'm always looking for stories and stuff like that. And there's people like this. It's like he did the funerals.
Yes.
He's
Brad
got the
Jones,
stories.
He's got your stories. He's amazing. I think he's a wonderful man.
It's gonna be great.
Do you smoke weed, Amish?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Canna Cabana.
Canna
Tell
Cabana.
them about Canna.
Over 100 locations across the country. They won't be undersold on cannabis or cannabis accessories. The exciting news for weed lovers and weed curious, because there's a lot of people listening who don't smoke weed but are curious about cannabis. You don't have to smoke cannabis, because some people are like, I don't want to smoke anything.
Oh,
but there
man.
are other ways to...
The edibles?
There's edibles.
Are hitting the Indian market. All these Indian moms, grandmas,
Really?
the grandmas are having it because it looks like a nice little candy.
This is it. So
They're getting messed
make sure
up.
these
They're getting
Indian
messed
grandmas,
up,
make
dude.
sure the Indian grandmas go to Canna Cabana. 'Cause they've got great edibles there.
They are. A lot of them are. Well, their kids just go get it for them.
Right.
And it's basically, I highly suggest this for any grandmas. Just give them just say, hey, here, it's candy. It's nice. Then 2 days later, they're going to say, give me more candies like that one. They are going to get on that. Brampton is like so addicted to this
Okay,
right now.
what is the name for a Indian grandmother? Because my wife is of Filipino descent, and her mom is referred to by my two half Filipino children as Lolo. No, sorry, she's Lola.
Oh, that's nice.
But is there a similar term for
Bua.
an Indian? So say that again.
I think Bua is one.
Okay,
Bua,
Bua.
I think means grandma, but Ba is in Gujarati where I'm from. Ba.
Okay, so shout out to all the Bas listening, getting their weed at Canna Cabana.
You know, these Bas are like, they've had a rough life. They won't take any drugs. Sorry to interrupt, but they will not take any drugs.
I'm
and
learning.
they need the jellies. Give them the jellies, people.
Okay.
It'll calm them down. They're going to harass you
So-
for kids and all this stuff. They eat the
Okay.
jellies. They say, God is great. They get...
But will they take an Advil if they have a headache?
I think even some of them are not even cool with Advil. Like, they're like, I don't take that. But this, it's candy. Candy.
Okay.
Like a nice
I'm learning
mango
so
flavor.
much from you, man. I'm learning so much from you.
Yeah,
I'm glad
it's
to
really
hear.
sneaking in with the elders. I'm shocked that it's
Okay.
sneaking in like that. But Canna Cabana's got the best deals.
Yeah, go there.
Unbeatable
And
prices.
here's something kind of neat for the FOTMs listening. On May 31st, in my backyard, Stu Stone, everybody listening loves Stu Stone, and Andy Palalis from Canna Cabana are going to join me. We're going to kick out Stoner Jams, and we might have a special appearance from Kareem, maybe Canada Kev, and the weed will be smoked in my backyard live during this episode, and it's going to be a blast. So that's the evening, I think 8 p.m. on May 31st. I'm going to live stream that because I have a pirate stream, my brother. I know you live stream on YouTube. I like to go to live.torontomike.com and roll my own, so to speak.
Wow, dude, you're doing pirate feed.
Because I need to play music. And
That's
if,
rock and
if you
roll,
play
dude.
music on those other channels, you know what happens, right?
Yeah, they cut it out. So you're swearing, your music, you
Oh.
rock and roll. That's it.
Just whatever the fuck I want. If I want to play Bob Marley, I'm going to play Bob Marley.
Woo!
This is
Rip
how
and
I
dip,
roll.
baby. Let's get
Woo!
it. That's it. Dude, I
All
love
right,
it.
all right. One last shout out here, and then I want to hear about
Sorry.
Belt.
Yep.
And then I have to talk about more radio stuff, actually. And then we
It
have a lot-
relates. It
we have a lot to
relates.
cover. Okay, this is a frenetic podcast. There's lots going on here. My synapses are firing, but I want to ask you when we met at the door, first time we've met. Nice to meet you. Did you take note of my pants? Okay, so I'm wearing Doer pants, and they look fly. These are stylish pants. I never look good. I look great in these pants. They're fucking rugged and comfy as all hell. I can and do bike in these pants. And then I walk into the boardroom because I've got many clients at TMDS and I got some conservative, financial clients. I'm in that boardroom looking good, feeling good, even though I just biked in those pants.
Okay.
What? Save 15% when you go to Doer, D-U-E-R. They have a retail store on Queen Street in Toronto, and you can go to doer.ca and buy online. Again, 15% off if you use the promo code TMDS.
Be a doer.
Do it!
Be a doer.
Amish, what the hell is this belt thing? I want to know,
it's actually the
if I'm
bite.
running a cult.
It's bite model. And no, actually, because really, if you think about it, the whole culture is a cult, if you think about it, in that sense.
Okay.
But the bite model of mind control is this. There's behavior. The BITES is an acronym. It stands for behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control.
See, that's it. I'm not controlling any thoughts or behaviors.
No, but in the example you had earlier, where Mr. Derringer over there allegedly told his assistant, "You're not allowed to drive that guy's assistant."
Right.
This is classic cult leader shit too. Like these people, they know it's classic emotional manipulation.
Interesting.
So a lot of bite model people do it unconsciously too, because you'll see it with you know what happens? It's like they don't even know they're doing it. It's like if you're a bigger brat, you get everything you want because you unconsciously you're willing to cry. You're willing to cry as a grown man? You get what you want. You'll get a discount. You'll get a drive somewhere.
Wow.
Who's going to say no to you? People are not going to argue with your stupid arguments. If you make a dumb argument and you go, no, I just think it's so important. People are going to say, okay, well, so that's fine. So if you're willing to cry, but that's emotional control. Information control, a lot of that will be like, you're not allowed to read this anymore. You're not allowed to talk to your old family anymore. That also falls under behavior control, but it's the bite model, and I recommend people check it out because this kind of thinking, it happens everywhere. And a lot of times with cult rehab, I talk to these ex-cult victims. Yeah, they come out and they're like, okay, I'm out, and that guy was a psycho, but there's smaller versions happening everywhere.
Interesting.
You know?
Have you ever been in a cult or close to it?
Yeah, I have a whole bit about this, but basically, like when I was 15, 16. They have this technique called flirty fishing. They'd send these hot girls around, super hot. They just want to see if you want to hang out, whatever. Hey, do you want to hang out? We all hang out on Sundays. Oh, you're like so cool. You would be so cool to hang out with. And you know that the wires in your brain get crossed. I mean, I'm horny, and I think I love her, but I love God. You know what I mean? It's like the wires are getting crossed in there.
Yeah, because your hormones are just going crazy at that age.
Crazy, dude. These girls are so hot. So I almost left the Hindus. I almost left.
Well, Kate, let's talk about religion a bit here for a moment, and I got to be careful here because I'm a proud atheist. But
okay,
so you're a practicing Hindu?
No, not really. I mean, Hinduism's full of. I left Hinduism for the same reason you probably became atheist. But are you familiar with Baba Sam Harris?
No,
you don't know Sam Harris? The atheist writer?
Oh, yes. Okay, sorry. The first part of the...
I called him Baba Sam Harish.
Okay. That threw me off there.
Well,
yes,
that's that very same Sam Harris. He is now a Baba Sam Harish because if you look at his app, he teaches loving-kindness meditation. And he teaches...
so let's get into that. There's so much ground to cover here, and I do want to talk about Andrew Krystal in a moment, too. But I called you a loving-kindness coach.
Right.
Where does that come from, and what the hell is that? And boy, do I need it. Let's go.
So it's everyone needs it. Don't feel like you're the only one. But it's the Buddha's most powerful technique. It's called loving kindness.
So it's part of Buddhism?
It's part of Buddhism, yeah.
So you switched from Hinduism to Buddhism.
Yeah, and the Buddha did that too because he was Hindu and he left, kind of like Jesus left the Jews.
Okay.
The Buddha left Hinduism and he started Buddhism.
All right. So firstly, I'm curious, what exactly is Buddhism? I'm dying to know, like you explain what it is. I know a little, but just enough to be dangerous, and then keep going with your story there. So
Buddhism, and it relates to the loving kindness, it's basically like they took the best parts of Hinduism, in my opinion, but every religion has this department. The best parts of Hinduism and the best parts of every religion, I think, is their loving kindness department. And Buddhism, the Buddha took that and said, I'm just making a new religion of just this stuff. Very systematic. So it's good. I still would say that I'm more into Zen. I feel like Zen is even another iteration because Buddhism met the Taoism and then they created Zen.
Okay.
And Zen Buddhism is like probably the most powerful technique in the game right now. So, and that's what, like I said, Baba Sam Harris, who was the great renowned atheist, now he practices this. He has all these Zen teachers on his app. He does it himself. So there's good mental health effects from it.
But, so why does this have to be a religion? Like, shouldn't this just be a lifestyle?
Yeah, it is. It is a lifestyle.
Like, I think I practice a lot of this Buddhism, but I don't throw a label on it, like a religious label on it, and go like I'm a Buddhist.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that really, honestly, and the Buddhists don't want you to do that either, and neither do the Taoists, and neither do the Zen. They don't care about any of that stuff. That all comes from the Christians and the Muslims, brother. They want the labels. They want you to pick a team. They want you to be on our team or whatever. But these other religions they think you're living your life is your religion, is your prayer. When you do a good ripper on there, when you turn on the mic and you do a good ripper. That's your prayer. That's the closest thing that they have to a God.
Okay, so shout out to Gavin Rossdale and Bush for that great jam. Everything's Zen.
Everything's Zen.
That could be your theme song.
I gotta, yeah. Okay.
I feel like digging it up on YouTube, but Everything's Zen. I used to play NHL, I think NHL 96 or something. I used to play it while blasting 16 Stone by Bush, and that was one of the jams. It was like if British could make a grunge album. Like if the Brits made a grunge album. So,
that's the album. Nice.
Everything's Zen. Okay, so shout again. Gavin was married. I think he might be more famous now for the fact he was married to Gwen Stefani from No Doubt.
Oh, yeah, the guy from Bush. That's right.
And on that note, Gwen Stefani got in a little heat, got in a little trouble for cultural appropriation. Like she, in her style and fashion, she would appropriate, you mentioned Hinduism, but pieces of like, of Hinduism, I understand.
I forgive her. She was dating a brown guy. That's okay.
Is that right?
She was dating a brown guy. And that happens when you date a white girl. They'll just start coming around with a bindi
So
on.
I'm married to an Asian woman.
Right.
I mean, am I now, do I have license now to make Asian jokes or to, tell me the truth here. I need to know. Because I'm missing out on a bunch of jokes I can't tell because I'm a white dude.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit. But that's what you're on your pirate radio, baby. You rip, dude. You rip. And then what you do, the whole point of being married to an Asian woman is that when they come after you, you bring her on the show. You say, baby, you're saying I don't love the Asian community?
Right. You're calling me a racist? I got 2 Asian children.
My children are Asian.
You use them like shields.
Exactly. Use them like shields against these social justice warriors coming at you, dude. You can do the jokes. I don't care. I don't care. You do the accent.
If it's okay if I'm still not going to do it, okay?
It's fine. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it. I guess it is weird. It's like on the one hand, like even the accent, like maybe it's hack too. Like maybe you don't.
I would never. I mean, once in a while, I might imitate Monica's family. Privately, I would never do. Just privately, because there's a distinct accent, and the way they say the name Monica, for example, I won't do it now. But I feel like I'm just doing mimicking an accent. Like it's
a family thing.
It's a family thing, right?
My cousin married a white guy, and it's our favorite thing is hearing him imitate the mom. It's so funny. Like, and he's so sweet though. He would never be rude. Okay,
so for several years, I don't know how many years now, but for several years I worked for a German software company. Okay.
Yes.
I'm German. I had a boss named Detlef for a period of time. And he would say these banana things, and I would do these routines for the family. So like the family would get together, and I would do these routines where I would do my Detlef. Okay, so it's a German accent for sure.
Yeah.
And Detlef would say, like, I would say something like, we went for a walk, and he was visiting Toronto, and because I worked remotely, obviously I didn't work from Frankfurt. I worked from Toronto. So and we'd be walking, I'd be like, oh, there's the Humber River or whatever, and I'll talk about how, like, I would love to buy a kayak because I enjoy kayaking the Humber or something. Right. And he would say, he would look at me and go, Michael, he goes, and he would name the software company, we kayaking is a solo sport. We row together. And he would get mad at me that I would be, we row together.
That's nice. I thought he was going to say, kayak, this is inefficient German, this is inefficient engineering. Don't you know that we have
but he would probably put in place many layers of process and paperwork and things in order to like get into that kayak or whatever. And
that's nice.
I'll be like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Let's just go.
Anyway, shout out to Detlef.
Shout out to you.
One day maybe I'll do like an
being
episode,
so
right?
community.
Do all my Detlef bits. My mom is the biggest fan. So my mom.
Oh, you can do German, by the way. I give you full permission for German. German? Because who cares? After what they did?
Because they're white.
White, and also after what they did, you can say anything about them, and they'll even listen and be like, "Yes, we are evil. We are evil. It's so bad." They're so sweet.
They've been making amends since 1945.
They've been making amends. They made a mistake. Forgiveness.
That's why pencils have erasers.
That's why pencils have erasers. Exactly.
That's why pencils have erasers.
This is why I teach forgiveness. It's loving kindness.
Okay,
they get
never again.
Never again. They got swept up, and now they're going to be nice.
And I can do, and I have a pretty good sense of what I can. I cannot do a press group, so I can do a Scottish thing, and I can do a Scottish accent, like Mike Myers style, or whatever. And I can even do like an Italian thing if I want to do an Italian thing about. Yeah. So I have a pretty good sense. Like I can ask myself a question in real time: is this an oppressed group? And if the answer is no, then this heterosexual white dude with blue eyes can go hard.
Yeah. You can go for that's the rules.
But if the answer is yes, it's not funny. It's not funny coming out of my mouth, and I'm not interested in going there.
Yeah, it's weird how we've learned. We've all been taught and we've all learned, and it's. I mean, I agree with it. It makes sense. I initially fought it myself too, and now I'm kind of like, okay, it makes sense. But I'm also not going to be the guy that like cancels you. I listen to this beautiful white Guruji.
Okay.
He teaches a lot of Hindu stuff. Like 2 days ago, he put out a clip saying like, in India, they had these great practices where they have mystical experiences, and then he did an act out, and he's like, "Hello, Gopi, did you have a mystical experience?" "Yes, I did. It was so good." And I was like, "It's fine."
He's a white guy?
He's a white guy.
So
He's
you
a
can't fucking do that.
beautiful white guy.
I don't think it's funny.
Here's the thing. I thought it was funny, but at the same time, I'm like, this guy's so progressive though. The meditation.
But doesn't
people,
any part of you think like that's not cool, man? Like
I don't
like,
care.
You white dude do because it's like is the funny part there that it's a funny accent? Like it's all about what's the joke in that?
I'll tell you.
Oh, that's a funny accent. Well, now that's not appropriate for a white dude to do that.
I'll tell you what it is. You know how you're saying like it's okay to just do the Germans, right?
Yes, I will do the Germans.
Well, I
yes.
can tell you this. The Hindu will rise, brother. The Hindu will rise. We are on our way, and it's
Wow.
fine. We're taking over the market. I don't feel any insecurities like this. I just don't feel them myself. I feel like a white guy myself. So, and if most brown people you meet here
Yeah.
are the white people of India, like
Well,
the
they're
upper
Commonwealth.
class.
They're from the Commonwealth.
They are
Like,
Commonwealth.
we're in the same club.
They're in the same club, and they're upper class India. So they're like, you're only meeting upper class. You're not meeting like really, really poor people in India. They're still being oppressed. They're still suffering from the caste system. So everyone that's here, I kind of hate it when Asian people are talking about stuff where they're like, "Hey, I'm being oppressed, and you're not allowed to use my accent." It's like, you're a millionaire, and you're part of the class of millionaires that oppressed your country for 1,000 years. Like, who cares, dude? Just cool it. And we're on the come up, baby. 50 years, it's going to be China, India. I think, and a lot of economists say that too. It's China.
Well, that's
India.
a volume thing, right? Like we have 1 billion plus in each country.
It's because you white liberals won't have children.
I have
and
4 children.
And the Muslims
What
are
more
having
do you-
children.
What more
and
do you
don't.
want from me? Honestly,
You have 4, and they're Asian.
well, no,
2 are Asian.
2 are Asian.
Wow, good job.
2 are white.
Okay, well, there's forgiveness. No, I'm just kidding. That's fine.
All right,
That's good. That's
it's
good.
getting hot in here. Okay, so before I forget, speaking of being hot in here, there's a toque for you too, man. I
Oh
should
my
have given
God,
that
this
to you
is for me
earlier,
too?
but you were looking up the cult stuff. That's from Canna Cabana, so that's a
Sick.
toque. Now I know it's funny thing is I got all these toques because it was cold out. These all arrived in like February. I didn't realize that I had more toques than there was like recordings left in the season.
Right.
So now I got to get rid of these toques.
I'll need it.
Because, now we're going to be like, it's 30 degrees, and I'm like, here's a toque, and it's like, fuck you and your toque. Like, where was this toque when I needed it? So anyway, that's a toque for you, because it's still down here by the lake. It's not that warm yet. Like, some days are warm, but some days like today are like, feels like 14 degrees or something like that.
I'm sleeping in the basement right now, so it's freezing, and that toque's going to be very handy for me, so thank you.
All right. Now, Canna Cabana. They're really good people. And shout out to Andy Palalis there. All right. So we did a lot of John Derringer talk off the top.
Yes,
in fact,
we did.
even as we speak, this has been going on all weekend, but like my Twitter feed, my DMs, my texts, like everything's blowing up. I actually think I'm like, even though it's Jennifer Valentine's video that set everything in motion.
You're the white knight, aren't you? That's
Am
gonna
I?
Save all. No, I think you're doing
Save
God's
everyone
work.
for
I think you're doing God's work. You got to do it. Someone's got to do it.
Is there a God? So do the Buddhists believe in a God?
No. They just believe that we are all collectively
Because you
gods.
several times now you've talked about thank God and stuff, and I just wondered.
No, I don't
do
believe
you,
in
Amish,
God like
believe
that.
in God?
No. But the Buddhists do believe that we all together are God, like all of us living together.
So what the hell do the Buddhists believe? Like, so I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. I took world religions at Michael Power High School. We did world religions, and I learned that's because up until then we only got taught Catholic in my school. It was just Catholic. Like, this is all there is. Like, I was like, I had no Jewish friends because all my friends were from school and only Catholics went there.
Right.
So everyone's Catholic. It's all you know is Catholic, and you know these sacraments and stuff. And then you do world religions was a class, I think grade 11 or something at Power there. And world religion, they're like, oh, by the way, there are other religions. And they're like, there's this thing called Judaism, and you learn about that. And there's this Muslim.
I did that. I did that class too.
Okay, so that's when that's like the first time I got to taste of all these different religions around the world. But Buddhism has always been a bit strange to me because it doesn't feel like a religion. It feels like a lifestyle. Like, so
it's not dogmatic.
So there's no
either.
God.
No.
We're all God.
Yeah, we are all collectively kind of like God, and God is like everything and nothing at the same time. It's kind of like it's like right now you're on this earth, and it's as if the earth was one character. So imagine the earth is a character, right? One person, Gaia, some people call it. So the trees are attached to it.
Okay.
But then we are just like trees that can walk. That's how you could think of us. So same thing inside of your body. You are like the Gaia of your body, and that's another universe. So there's like some cells that are moving around and different whatever. And then so that's going down. Now inside of the cells in you, I think the universes keep going down infinitely that way, but then going up it works too. So the universe is another character. Okay. And then a bunch of universes are sitting inside of another. So it is this like infinite up and down, but then you have instant access to it anytime with meditation. Okay, so yes, this is a big I can meditate. I can meditate even if I'm not Buddhist, right? Like that's
they
not
don't care.
That's not
they don't
cultural
care about
appropriation.
That. They
okay,
don't care about that.
Because I know like lots of people meditate who aren't Buddhist. So this meditation.
Catholics have incredible meditations.
Okay, I gotta get in on this meditation bus. I don't like my brain calming down. Like I don't know. This is about. I let it sleep, so I'm actually a pretty good sleeper. But only because at some point I realized like if I biked 30K a day, I could fall asleep. Like it's like because I could stop thinking and just crash and fall asleep or whatever. So it's like. We literally in this house call it my medicine, but like my daily bike ride is like my medicine. Like I got to get it in every day or I'm kind of fucked at night or whatever. So all this is to say when I'm awake, which I don't nap, so I'm awake all day long. I kind of need constant synapse firing. I don't want to shut things down and meditate. I've got a million things going on and I kind of like it. Like we're going to talk and then my daughter's got her first soccer. I'm going to put her in the bike trailer, bike her over to soccer. She's going to do her soccer. And then I've got things that I got to do in the TMU, the Toronto Mike's Universe. Okay.
TMU.
There's lots going on.
Yeah.
I don't want to meditate, but meditating is something you do on the reg.
Yeah, I got to.
How often?
I do it every day. I'll do at least 20 minutes every day.
20 minutes a day. Yeah. So for 20 minutes a day, you shut it down. Like you put like the computer going to sleep. Amish Patel goes to sleep.
Yeah. You don't have to shut it down. You just have to watch your mind, basically. You watch it. It's almost like you're going into the programming and you're watching it operate. And then just by watching it, things will start closing automatically. Don't try to close the things, though. The thoughts, the things that are running.
Like if you have things you have to do, don't you have to think like, oh, I should just do it? No, for 20 minutes, you're going to like.
Sometimes I'll just write those things. I'll just write those things down. And actually, it gives me a focus because sometimes I won't know what to do. But if I sit down, if I just write it down, like, okay, I need to do 1, 2, 3, then it'll shut down my brain. I can just turn it off completely.
Okay.
And then you get to have all that energy. And it feels very, it can be very. Have you ever done any psychedelics?
So, okay. Psilocybins, right? No, but I have an episode coming up on Toronto Mike with a guy named Dr. Mike Hart.
Wow.
And he's an advocate for psilocybin treatment of various things like PTSD and various mental illnesses.
It is a loving kindness guru, that psilocybin. It's a pure loving kindness guru.
So you do
approach.
that? What is this, like shrooms? What are we talking about here?
Shrooms is that, but the Buddhist technique is a natural technique. Loving kindness meditation.
Tell me.
Just think about having the feeling of loving kindness. And then you can apply it on whatever you are doing. So let's just say some teachers will actually start with like think about a dog and they're cute and that burst of energy you get and just sit with that emotion.
Wow.
And sit with that feeling. Yeah. You're practicing.
You can do this sober. Like you can do this sober?
Yeah, you're supposed
to be sober.
I don't want to say you're supposed to. The Zen don't care. The Buddhists do have like weird strict rules and stuff like that, but it kind of goes against a lot of other stuff they teach. But the Zen don't care. The Taoists don't care. There's a lot of parts of Hinduism, like the tantric teachers, they don't care if you do drugs. They actually do them.
Shout out to Sting. Did you get any blowback from your family when you switched religions?
Oh, they don't care. These Hindus?
They don't, like you tap out of Hinduism and then you're tapping into Buddhism, and your family of Hindus aren't like, what the fuck?
I'll tell you. When I was 15 and I was trying to get laid with that girl, and she was trying to convert me, and I was trying to sleep with her. At that time, the Hindus came in several times to cock block that situation. Several times, I was like gonna go hang out with her, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And then they go, no, you have a Hindu. This, and I'm like, what the fuck this shit. I was pissed. But then eventually, like I got whatever that all happened. Today, I'd say now the Hindu mentality is like, no, you're in, you can't leave. You're not allowed. What, Buddhists? They're ours. They don't even believe that Buddhists and Sikhs, they don't believe that they're separate religions. And some Hindus, they'll even call Muslims and Christians. They'll be like, they don't know. They're confused. They're all Hindu. Everyone's Hindu. So there is that side of it. They don't care. They don't believe you.
Man.
The Hindus, yeah.
But have you ever considered just, you don't need religion. Just live this lifestyle, like the golden rule and everything, and you can still meditate, and you can still be loving and kind, and you can still be a loving kindness coach. Like, why do you need to
slap on this man-made infrastructure label like Buddhism?
Yeah.
Like, why not?
I
Just,
mean, I don't. I feel like people do. People do.
Amishism.
That's what I actually do, is just what I do. But other people need the label. That is part of what they try to make you drop, is like having these labels and having to be like identify with someone. They just want you to drop all that and be yourself. So I actually don't, but I mean, people do, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, but that is the technique that so I guess I do teach the technique. So it just says on my thing that like I'm a loving kindness coach. So I teach loving kindness. There's a lot of techniques, a lot of meditations that you can do. Right. A lot of like childhood forgiveness. Like you go back and sit with yourself as a kid at points when you were feeling anxious. And from doing that, you kind of heal these like childhood traumas. But I wouldn't say like dogmatically. There's no dogma to it. They don't believe in anything like that.
All right, man. Okay, so we're gonna.
That's why Zen is like all jokes and stuff. They just do silly. They basically are podcasters. Zen. That's what their services are.
Hey, let me get back to this live stream for a minute. So remind me, who is? Because I watched some of the live stream. It's who's on the live stream. The Drip.
It's just me right now.
Oh, it's just you. But who was the guy I saw when I went to look at an episode?
It was Joe Rogan, and then because we were talking about Joe Rogan, and then it was Steven Coffeezilla.
So you co-hosted with Joe Rogan.
Not Joe Rogan, but people do think that, which is weird, because on YouTube you can just put clips of anyone. We were just talking about him.
Okay, but what real person was with you?
It was Steven Coffeezilla.
Okay. So why are you solo now? Steven said enough of this.
When we started, he had like 85,000 subs.
Okay.
And now he just hit 1 million, and it's a lot of work. I mean, even now, I'm at 30,000 now with this Drip channel. It's a lot of work. Like I gotta, we're doing probably 2-3 episodes a week, and then cutting them as clips, and it pays, but it's not.
You gotta
crazy.
feed the beast. You gotta
feed the beast, and I need to start setting myself up with these sponsors like you have. You know, what I'm saying? The sponsors game ship game is great. I love it.
When do you do these live streams? Like, so I mean, give us some nuts and bolts. Like, if when's your next live stream?
So Sunday 8 p.m. I do Cult Rehab.
Okay.
Sorry, Sunday 6 p.m. I do Cult Rehab.
76, yeah.
And that one we have the next couple of guests lined up. This week we have Jennifer Infantino. She was in the Jehovah's Witnesses for a long time, but she had to leave due to abuse. Like just
they don't get to celebrate the birthday. They don't get birthday parties.
Dude, no birthdays. I had a comic on this.
No Halloween either.
No Halloween either. No national anthem. And it's a Canadian anthem. Like it's not. It's a nice anthem. It's not even violent.
Can they have blood transfusions?
Not allowed.
Well, the other ones are like whatever salad, but the whole blood transfusion thing, I know there's some, if your kid needs a life-saving blood transfusion, I think religion be damned. It's like, let's save a life here.
Save a life, man. I mean, who cares? It's such a weird thing that they're doing, and it's so archaic, especially because we've had Scientology and Jehovah's Witness, and I gotta say, the Jehovah's Witness, it's like.
So, are you referring to that as a cult? Since this is called Cult Rehab, because officially they don't pay taxes, is what I'm saying. Like they're officially designated a religion. Yeah,
they are technically a religion. I think they're set up like a cult. Like I said, the Bite model says that they're doing several things that go against the Bite model.
Right.
There's a lot of behavior control, and just to recap, that it was behavior control, information control, thought control, emotional control. They do all four from day one.
Wow.
They're having kids sign contracts that like you have to work for us for 1,000 years.
Wow.
When the kid's like 6 years old, 7 years old, kids are signing contracts with them.
Wow.
Yeah, Scientology too.
There's a lot of. I mean, I've seen documentaries and stuff about Scientology. It seems to get more press, like as a not really like. Why is this a religion? Like this is a cult, but. Wow. Okay. So
Jehovah's Witness. I mean, they're look. It's gray areas, right? Like, I mean, it's hard to define. Sometimes you could just have a cult of personality.
And remember, when you leave it, usually that means leaving the family, right? Like you're ostracized by everyone you know and love, and that's why it's so difficult for people to leave because all their family disowns them.
Yeah, shunning. And
that's
top
difficult for anybody.
The top hashtag that one of the guests was telling me is shunning is abuse.
Piss me. Yeah, yes. Look, I know. I mean, again, I'm anti all religions. So I just want to say this is not me picking any particular religion.
Yeah.
But like to think, like, imagine shunning. I have 4 kids. Like, I can't imagine shunning them.
It's crazy
because they left the religion that I indoctrinated them into when they were young. And I mean, I always think about like, okay, in my family, in this household, on Easter morning, there are like chocolate eggs hidden around the living room, okay? And kids of a certain age, like right now there's 2 of them in this age group, wake up on Easter morning and excitedly hunt for these eggs because, the Easter bunny came when they were sleeping and hid these eggs for them. Okay, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm very conflicted on all this because There's such joy that morning with these two kids. I got a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old now, and they just did this. They found the eggs, and they get to eat the eggs, and it's, wow, what an awesome guy this Easter Bunny is. Look at this fucking eggs. These are chocolate, and we found them. This is amazing. And I always think, like, okay, this is essentially what they do with religion. Like, basically, you know, the kids just buy it, man. You know, hook, line, and sinker. They believe it, and I'm going to be careful because I don't know who's listening. But yeah, of course they believe it when daddy tells them and mommy tells them that when they're sleeping, the bunny will hide these eggs, and in the morning they can find the eggs. Like that's the same thing.
Yeah. It's beautiful. They're just using it the wrong way.
Right. And I don't know who's listening in the car, so I'm going to abandon the Easter Bunny. Shout out to the Easter Bunny.
Shout out to the Easter
Bunny. Was very generous to my kids. I always think that somebody's listening and their kids in the car, and I don't want to be an asshole. Okay.
No, don't out it. I mean, we're here to live these stories of this life. Have you ever heard this? There's a great Alan Watts speech about this where he's saying that basically this life is basically we're all gods and we're playing like a life-generating simulation. And the whole point of it is to live through these stories. So even if you look at stories the way they're written, they're like little spiritual quests. And when you complete them, you're supposed to be upgraded a little bit. Like some little bit of your spirituality has to be improved. We go down into your subconscious and we get the elixir and you come back a little healed. But even all these games, that's what a lot of these cults provide. And that's what a lot of religions provide. But the thing is, we do need it. And Yuval Harari has a great book about it called Sapiens. And there's a whole thing about that. It's like we need these stories because you might think they're silly, but you too, brother, are just a child of the Most High God, or like the collective. You know what I mean? It's like you are operating on another collection of stories as well. So it's one of those things where like anyone can get caught up in it. We do need it as human beings. They're very beautiful. I mean, you're setting up really your job. Really, probably the most important job you could do is setting up fun little situations for your kids.
So is the cult rehab that you mentioned Sunday at 6? But the question was, Mr. Patel,
tell me,
when's the Drip live streaming? Is the cult rehab like a sub?
It's like a show on the Drip, yeah.
Okay, so the Drip is like when I do these I almost called it Pandemic Fridays, but we call them Toast. So I do Toast, but Toast is actually a Toronto mic'd episode. We just sort of have like a sub series if you embedded it. So that's okay. So Cult Rehab.
Yeah, these are all shows on the Drip, like Cult Rehab, Public Forgiveness. These are all different shows. So
I can Google like cult. What would I Google to find your YouTube channel? Like,
I would say, can people link to it from where they're listening to this or no? I guess
I can always. If you want me to, I'm happy to stick in the description I put on TorontoMic.com.
Is that cool? I'll send you a link to the podcast.
But if somebody's listening right now and they just search, because the Drip sounds like it'll be a pretty generic term. Like,
that's true.
If you're on, if you know how to find YouTube.com, which is the world's most popular television station, and you want to subscribe because you want to see Amish Patel, go live with the Drip, be it Cult Rehab or whatever. Like, can I just search YouTube for the Drip with Amish Patel? Will I find it that way?
It is
help me help you.
YouTube totally, man. It's youtube.com/the Drip.
The Drip?
The Drip Podcast.
The Drip Podcast. So no underscores or anything there. No. Shout out to Cam Gordon.
YouTube.com/the Drip Podcast.
Okay. All right. So exciting. This is going to happen Sunday. And how long would a typical live stream be?
About an hour, hour to 2 hours. I mean, sometimes I'll just go on with topics.
Okay.
But usually I try to keep them to an hour and a half.
That's the best part, right? Like our chat right now. Do you want to guess how long we've been talking?
Oh my God, Tom.
Just guess.
We've been 1 hour?
This is now 1 hour and 12 minutes and 30 seconds now.
Wow. That's great.
So my point, so you can go as long as you want. That's one of the joys. Okay.
Nice.
So
live stream
and how many people will be tuning in? Like you mentioned subs.
We have 30,000 subs in our congregation.
You didn't buy these subs because I worked for a podcast that once bought subs. You're not buying the subs. These are real people.
These are real people, but of the 30,000 souls that have subscribed, really, I'd say there's an active. I mean, every episode we'll get 7,000-8,000 on the Cult Rehab episodes. And then for my regular episodes where it's just me talking, I'll get like 1,000 to 2,000.
Fuck numbers, man. Like I love what you're doing. Like you're just doing this. Like how long you been doing this?
It's been 2 years. He just left like 6 months ago. So what the hell did
you do before that? Like you're 40 or something? Like what the heck? Were you like in banking or something? And then one day you said like, I want to fucking help to host a live stream. Like,
well, you get into it easily from stand up. Like, so I was doing
stand
stand up. I was writing. I was
stop,
doing TV.
stand up,
Yeah.
stop. Have you ever met Kevin Hart?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I know that's why I asked you. See, I always ask questions knowing the answers.
Oh, right.
So, do you think I don't even think he's that funny? But don't tell him I said that. Okay, so
He doesn't care.
tell me how you're a stand-up comic. How the hell are you tied to Kevin fucking Hart?
So years ago, okay. So first of all, I did a 7-minute special, 7-minute stand-up comedy routine for him for his network called the LOL Network, and it's on his LOL Kevin Hart's LOL Network, whatever. But
okay, Amish
they
Patel
flew me into
did
Just
7
for
minutes.
Laughs. Yeah,
Is that in Montreal? Where did you go?
Montreal? The real Just for Laughs.
Yeah, real. Amazing.
Yeah. They flew me in. It was great. That was a beautiful experience.
So, but were you already like doing like yucks or something? Like, where were you discovered that you could get 7 minutes on Just for Laughs in Montreal on the Kevin Hart LOL Network?
Just being in the game. I have agents.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You got agents?
Yeah. It's one agency. You don't have an agent?
No. I have nothing.
You're independent, but you're
so independent.
Radio,
it's scary.
You're radio, and you did it all your own, like on your. Because I came in from acting.
But I'm not from radio even. Like, there's not even. I've never been in radio. Like, I don't have I don't have any mainstream media, anything, anywhere. It's
what
kind of
weird careers we have. What did you do before? I want to know about you.
Digital marketing.
You did
for
digital marketing, right.
B2B software companies, and I was pretty much in that world from like post U of T to like I would say a few years ago when TMDS, which stands for Toronto Mike Digital Services, became my sole source of income as I feed for children and try to send them to university.
Congratulations. God is great. That's great.
Shout out to the GOD.
That's what I'm trying to do. The same thing. I mean, honestly, like it's years of stand up and TV writing and all this stuff, and it is a tough. Tumultuous. It's like a weird business. It's hard to keep a consistent thing, doing something that I actually want to do, and podcasting turned into like the thing because it just seems like if I want to make
streaming
sketches,
is not podcasting.
Oh.
Like, do you have a podcast too?
It is a podcast. I mean, it just goes up as a podcast. It's called the Drip Podcast. That's what even the channel is called. That yeah.
I know. So
but I know it's a new world.
Can
it's like
I subscribe
vlogs,
to your
podcasts.
show in, for example, I don't know, Spotify? Can I subscribe in Podcast Addict? Like, can I subscribe to your show, Amish, in Apple Podcasts?
Okay, so here's what we're gonna
Yes or
do.
no?
No, but it's coming soon. I'm
just
going
an
to
FYI,
Podfest,
and maybe I'm being pedantic, but this seems
but it's
to be
not.
important
It's
to me.
technically not a podcast.
You have a live stream YouTube show, but you do
Right.
not have a podcast.
Right. Yeah, we got to put all the audios onto Spotify. Actually, we're gonna do that this week. I'm going to Podfest right now. On
Where's
the weekend.
that?
It's in Orlando.
Okay, you're going to Podfest.
Yeah, it's the
Amazing.
biggest podcast festival in the world,
Wow.
and they said the same thing. They were like, "Yeah, you got to be on these
because you're not
iTunes or
you're not a
whatever."
podcast. I have to.
No, it is like a video show, I guess. It's like they can hear me talk. They can watch me,
By the
but
way,
they can hear me.
You have a YouTube show, and YouTube again, the most popular television station in the world, right? This is where prior to the Spotify deal, that's where most people consume their Joe Rogan, right? Was YouTube.
Yeah.
That's a great place to be. You have a great live stream show, and I hope you have millions of people tuning in. But you do not have a podcast.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's
Just to be a dick
They're
about it.
coming over. They're coming over. I'm just talking to our guy. We have an editor.
You have a guy.
I have a guy in India, and
Oh.
it's so much work though. Honestly, like just keeping up with the YouTube has been so much to
Right.
just get
Right.
it like growing consistently and
Right.
having like the good programming for it. So yeah, definitely like getting it out to the podcast is like the next move.
Okay, amazing. But it's exciting that people can actually on Sunday see you live if they choose to at YouTube. But we know
And
how
we're
to
putting up
find
great
you now.
clips and great shorts from that too. The Drip Podcast, on YouTube. But it's basically like the stories are incredible because like I said, these cult leaders are psychos.
Well, I'm good on you for sticking to that. I watched a couple of documentaries recently on the Axiom people.
What a maniac! What a maniac!
Well, he's in jail for life now.
Yeah.
But that's a wild story because there's a little bit of like just a little celebrity spin. You'll see, there's great Canadian Kristen Crook.
Yeah.
Did I say her name properly? I hope
Yeah,
so,
she was
from
in there.
Smallville. She was involved, but she did not get arrested, I don't think. But there was that other woman from Smallville who did get arrested, I believe. And you kind of find out like the accountability and what happened there. That's quite the story. The Axiom. So there's couple of good documentaries out there on Axiom. Hey man, off the top, I talked about the crazy weekend, right? So you have the
Right.
John Derringer story breaking, and then we talked quite a bit about that off the top. It was good to get your perspective. But on Saturday night, late Saturday, so this is actually technically early Sunday morning, FOTM Andrew Krystal went for a walk, a nighttime walk. Andrew Krystal died suddenly on this walk. I don't have the specifics of cause of death. It sounds like a heart attack when I hear it described to me by those who know, but he died suddenly. So in the 1,053 episodes before your arrival, Amish, of Toronto Mike, over 10 years, never once in the history of this podcast has a guest of Toronto Mike died. Like, that's the first time, on this weekend that just passed, is the very first time. And I used to I would mention this periodically because it seemed like a statistical anomaly that you can have hundreds of, like, I don't know, let's say 600 unique guests over 10 years in ages ranging from, younger people to, people in their 90s. Like, the fact that nobody would die over the 10-year period, I think was a statistical anomaly. But that streak that I would reference periodically, long gone.
You were referencing that streak, eh? You were like, nobody died.
On the episode
1,000 episodes, nobody died.
On episode 1,000, I mentioned it a few times.
You keep track of them all?
Yeah, I do. So
because eventually they're all going to die.
Yes, but some will die after me.
Right.
So I absolutely do keep track of them all. On TorontoMike.com, there's a page called Notable Guests, I think, or Notable Episodes or something. At the top, there's a link. You can go and see. I just literally, all the notable guests are listed. You're going to go there after this episode.
Yeah.
And I absolutely 100% track them all. And only one has perished. That was this weekend, Andrew Krystal. And here,
Looks young, though. I saw his picture.
Well, he was 63. I don't know when the picture was
Okay.
taken. So he was 63. And it was very sudden because he was texting with my buddy Humble Howard Glassman.
I know Humble.
Yeah. Okay. So I produce Humble and Fred.
Amazing.
How do you know Humble? You from the radio?
I did the show
When did you do the show?
years ago, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Okay. So
It was great. It was fun though. It was in
November 2019 is when I started producing. So before that, I guess.
maybe before that, but it was at their house or apartment. or
Yeah.
something
Okay.
downstairs.
Okay. Well, they've been doing it on Zoom since the pandemic. So
Cool.
So you went to was it Queensway in Islington?
Something like that. Yeah. That's it.
That's wild. Okay, so good. Okay, so that's cool to know because I actually book their show now. Like, that's what I do as part of my
Amazing.
duty. So what a small fucking world.
That's a
But
small
Humble
world.
Howard, who worked with Andrew Krystal at Mojo Radio, was texting with his buddy Andrew until about 11:45 p.m. on Saturday night. Okay, so at some point later that day, not too much thereafter. Although I have DMs from people who were texting with him early Sunday, 12:20 a.m., after midnight and stuff. So he was actively texting, and he died that night suddenly. And I got the news. On Sunday, and first thing I thought of was oh my God, I need to re-listen to his episode of Toronto Mike. So he died at the age of 63. And if you go to episode 630 of Toronto Mike, you'll hear. And I know that's quite the coincidence.
Whoa.
I know. But I actually had, okay, so here's where I'm going with this, Amish. When I recorded with Andrew Krystal, I left the experience feeling like I didn't love it. I left it thinking, it was tough to have a conversation with him because he wanted to do these bits, almost like he had material, as if I interviewed you and you did your stand-up routine and you were kind of doing just stand-up. It's I don't actually want you to just do your stand-up. I want to converse with you. And Andrew Krystal was doing shtick.
Come on. You got to work it into the convo. You got to work it into the convo.
So he was doing a shtick about Mike Stafford.
Right, but he's older though. That's how they used to do it. Because they used to get these 7-minute spots on Johnny Carson, and they had to do a bit. So if you even look at even the way Bill Burr goes on Conan O'Brien, it's just a setup for a bit. He goes, "Hey, so what'd you do this weekend?" And then he'll just do his bit.
Right. Well, even Norm would do that, right? Norm Macdonald. Then he'd do his moth joke or whatever.
But
so
you're doing more of a live stream.
No,
so
I don't
it's
do
a
that.
rip.
Yeah, I don't do that. But so it's he's doing it, and I'm like, okay, he's doing his John Oakley bit, and he's doing his Stafford bit, and he's gonna do his thing. And I was I remember in real time thinking, being disappointed. So after the episode, I did my normal promotion of it, a tweet, and then I do whatever, Facebook, a LinkedIn, and a Instagram, and it's okay. Andrew's, I almost called him Andrew Stokely. Andrew Stokely is still very much alive, everybody. But Andrew Krystal, here he is on Toronto Mike. Enjoy. But I wasn't proud of it. I really didn't wasn't proud of the episode. But this weekend, I'm doing yard work. This is on Sunday, I think. And I just learned that Andrew Krystal died. So I put his episode in my headphones as I went to do yard work.
And it was perfect.
I loved it. Okay, so I'm listening back, and this is a couple of years later, and I fucking loved it. And I'm listening to it, and I'm thinking, like, it's kind of a masterpiece. Like, yes, I let him, and I'm listening to it's not arrogant here, but I let him do his shtick, because how am I going to stop the man from doing it? I let him do his shtick, and then I get a convo out of him, and he's fucking smart, he's interesting, he's entertaining. I said to myself, I love this episode. Like, for 2 years, I hated this episode of Toronto Mike, and then he dies. I listen back, and I realize I was completely wrong about the whole thing.
This is the power of meditation, brother.
Is that what that was?
That's what it is.
Because I was out there doing the yard work, and that's like my meditation, listening to this podcast.
Well, it is it is watching the illusions that you've created, right? Like your doubts of yourself, they're all in your head. Nobody's thinking that. At the end of the day, it's probably one of your best podcasts, of course, because he does a full bit.
I didn't say that.
Back then, but for his age to do a bit, it's like back then they were writing like 1 hour and doing it for their whole life. So they have like 4 bits. So he's starting the bit. It's almost like these like improv shows that they do where a comedian does a bit, and then the other 5 people they do a show after that. So it's perfect. It's like you do the bit and then you have a conversation. It's beautiful. It's actually a great system.
And then I started hearing from different people because I wrote about Andrew Krystal passing and I tweeted about it. So a lot of people learned it from me. And then I started hearing, I not only heard from his family members who miss him very, very, very much, of course. They loved him. And but you know, people who worked with him, and people are like, you know, he was so smart and so different. And then I was thinking about Andrew Krystal. I often, in fact, as recently as on Friday, Blair Packham was over here. And it's funny, we started our episode with a John Derringer story of like casual like homophobia from John Derringer. Little did we know what would transpire the next day. But with this Blair Packham episode, which I absolutely loved from Friday, and people should absolutely check it out.
Check it out.
Andrew Krystal came up in the convo like organically. He doesn't come up that often, but he came up and I said, Blair, you need to listen to his episode of Toronto Mike. It's batshit crazy. That's how I describe it on the fucking episode Friday. It's batshit crazy. The guy would be dead, less than 48 hours later. I revisit the episode. I loved it. But what I will say about Andrew, and I knew him a little bit because I knew him through Humble and Fred. So I would meet him at Humble and Fred events, and then he came on my show. So we spent 90 minutes together and having a conversation or whatever. So it's not like we were hanging. I never got invited to the penthouse. But he was a fucking character. Amish, we have no characters left. This guy was sharp. He was funny, he was entertaining, but he didn't fit any molds. Where do you put an Andrew Krystal in mainstream media? He doesn't fit any molds because he's just fucking weird. And it's like there's some beauty in this epic weirdness that we were all privy to from Andrew Krystal. And I personally think one less Andrew Krystal in our marketplace is fucking sad, and we're going to miss this guy.
It's too bad. I mean, it sounds like a great guy. It's too bad I can't meet him, but you know what? The world's always generating silly people, you know?
I don't even know if he's a great guy. That's the thing. I just know
silly.
He's entertaining.
Yeah.
And interesting. He's an interesting guy. And I have always gravitated towards characters. I've always liked characters. Even today, I'm working with so many characters who can't get a gig in the mainstream media because I don't think there's any room for a true character in the mainstream media. Like you gotta be safe and fit these fucking molds. Where does a character go in 2022?
I wish I knew. I mean, I'm trying to make that place for myself because I feel the same way. I feel like a silly person. A lot of people don't get what I'm doing, but then some people really get it and they're really into it and they'll like cry or something. So I'm just like, okay, do it. But it's always been tough though. That is a grind.
How often do you live stream?
I try to do 2-3 a week.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes they'll go for hours, but like, so you like the one I did on Sunday, I did 1 hour.
Okay.
Bing, bang, in and out.
Right. Okay. And what is the, like, before we say goodbye, like, what is the goal here? Like, are you hoping to basically sell sponsorship or get enough subs that, YouTube's going to pay you? Or is the goal that someone's going to hear this and say, we need this on our terrestrial radio station or our satellite radio station? Or like, where are you going here, brother?
So I think what we can create is bring back like some kind of spirituality into the market through the show. Like I do want to keep it spiritual. I want to keep it about loving kindness, but it is very silly because I'm a comedian. So I do a lot of jokes. I do a lot of silly stuff, forgive people, stuff like that, cult rehab, bring people help, whatever. But just a place to talk about spirituality that's not weird. So I do a lot of spiritual stories, parables, people come in and they have like, even if someone has a near-death experience or ghost story, we have a lot of those guests.
Right.
So I want to be that place for people who are want to express that kind of spirituality. Because honestly, if we don't have spaces for them, that's how the cult leaders get them. You know, there's no place in the society for them to do it. So right now I'm building out 2 shows. Like there's Cult Rehab that's doing really well, and then we have just me, you know, talking about current events, politics through the angle of the spirituality. It would be great to have a sketch comedy show as far as like mainstream, like a spiritual sketch comedy show. That would be amazing.
Like a spiritual Kids in the Hall.
Like a spiritual. Well, they did it with Life and Brian. Have you seen Life of Brian?
Of course.
Yeah. Those guys did it.
My 20-year-old just got heavily into like Monty Python stuff, and it's so cool to kind of witness.
It's amazing. So they did it first. I mean, even the kids TV show that I'm writing.
The bright
side of life.
Sorry.
It would be great to have like just the call-in show, because I do a lot of call-in stuff with people too, like public forgiveness. They can call in. I forgive them for stuff, but I give them shit, obviously.
How are they calling in? Out of curiosity, because I'm going to do a call-in. I'm going to do a Jay's talk with Wilner in my backyard. I'm just curious. How are you handling the telephony part of that?
I use StreamYard. Have you used StreamYard?
No, but I'm well aware of it. Like, because I'm using a thing called Stage 10. But you can have people call in that way.
Yeah. I just send them a link. That's how all the guests are calling in right now.
I see it, like a link. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you prearrange. So it's not like there's some number people can call or whatever.
No, but they can log into the show, and I just give the link right there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to StreamYard.
Yeah. But it would be good to get on terrestrial radio. That would be amazing.
So okay, get in there quick, man, because I don't know.
It's over.
When I listened back to the Andrew Krystal episode, he's like, what's AM stand for again? Modulation, amplitude modulation. What does it stand for? I should know this before I tell the joke. But he does the long form for AM, and he talks about like AM isn't cool anymore. Basically, like AM is dead. But if there's an FM spot for Amish Patel, I'll tune in.
Yeah, man.
Dude, this was amazing. Is there anything like you're on your way here and like thinking I'm gonna score a fucking lasagna, I'm gonna get a beer, I'm gonna get a sticker, I'm gonna get a toque, I'm gonna get measuring tape? Is there you're gonna get 15% off Doer pants? Is there anything that you're saying I want to make sure I say this, but you haven't said it, and you're gonna be going home after the photo you take with me, and you're gonna be like, how did I fucking forget to say this?
What?
Say it now.
You listen to The Drip. We do it every week. It's great. It's really good for your vibration. It'll cheer you up. It'll make you feel good inside, and. Yeah, we're really bringing the people together. Thanks for listening. And come to the next party. I'm going to come to your parties, dude.
Yeah, I will. Now you're an FOTM, so you're going to be totally aware.
FOTM, baby. I'm at the party.
You're an FOTM Amish, and we would absolutely love to have you at TMLXX, which might just happen on September 1st. Put it in your calendar. And that brings us to the end of our 1054th show. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Toronto Mike. Amish is at Fade to Brown.
On Instagram.
And you're also on Instagram. Are you also Fade to Brown on Instagram?
On Instagram, I'm at Fade to Brown. And then on YouTube, like I said, The Drip Podcast. YouTube.com/The Drip Podcast. Check it out there.
Follow this handsome devil. Our friends can... You're supposed to say you're handsome too.
You're a silver fox. Look at this guy.
I need to shave because my beard's coming in white now and I hate it. Okay. Our friends at Great Lakes Brewery are at Great Lakes Beer. Palma Pasta is at Palma Pasta. Sticker U is at Sticker U. Doer are at Doer Performance, and Doer is DUER, and these pants are fucking awesome. Ridley Funeral Home are at Ridley FH, and Canna Cabana, they're at Canna Cabana _ See you all. I'm going to go to the calendar because I'm going to shout out tomorrow's episode. Who's on tomorrow? Tomorrow, and my special guest is, oh my God, it's Ian Thomas, musician extraordinaire and brother to Dave Thomas.
Wow.
Don't miss it. See you all then.
And I play this guitar just the best that I can.